Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Conrad Agramont. I'm the Director of Technology Services here at Agile IT. Along with me, I am Gott, who's a part of technology specialist at Microsoft, and Brian Long, who's our Sales Director here at Agile IT. Welcome to part 2 of our Agile IT EMS webinar series. I'm really excited. The first one was well attended, a lot of great information. Really, at that point, we just kind of give the overview of what EMS is. It is available if you go to agilet.com. This is where you can register for the Part 3 event, or if you want to go ahead and look back at Part 1, we'll make that available as well. This session is being recorded. Any questions you'll ask, we'll go ahead and do our best job to answer it here, or we may follow up with you. So the whole goal here about this 3-part series was that Part 1, brief overview of what is it, try to make it as simple as possible. To really kind of consume what it is and the value that it brings. And this session is only 30 minutes long, so we try and pack in a lot of good stuff. Part 2 today, really from the end user's perspective. So once this is deployed in your environment and we've gotten it into the organization, what is the experience the end users are going to have? How will they use it? What are the features that they're going to see? And what does this help the business drive? And then once we do that, Part 3, which will be in another 2 weeks, is when we'll go a little bit deeper for the administrators. Now that the end users are using it, what are the types of things that the administrators need to do or can do from their perspective? So really focusing on, once it's deployed, what are the things that they get to see and control that it's out there. So that's really what we have going on for the series. And again, this is Part 2. So just a quick recap in terms of the type of capabilities that enterprise mobility has. There's 3 kind of core pillars, 3 key areas. One is Azure Active Directory Premium. So this is the ability to have this Active Directory in the cloud, kind of extending what you currently have today on-prem. The second part is Microsoft Intune, which is really about managing applications and devices. And here today, you're going to see how that's really impacted with from the end user's perspective. And then probably the most interesting, at least for me, I'm an IT guy, so I really love it, is the Azure Rights Management capabilities, the 3rd pillar. And really, this is less about locking your folder or where things are. So today, when people think about securing their content, I have a SharePoint site or a OneDrive, and that's why I put permissions of who gets access. But once somebody gets access to something and they get access to the document, it's kind of free, right? You can get that document wherever they have, and people can do things with it. So now with Azure Rights Management, now I get to put that security as attributes, or some people call them ornaments, or other properties that are really bound to the document. So no matter if I have this document and I can open it today, I might leave the company or my permissions or roles change, and now I don't have access to that document. So wherever that document goes, those permissions stay tied with it, and the organization still gets to control it from afar. So that's the one I'm really excited about. And the really great thing that you're going to see from an end user's perspective is to see how it's controlled both from PCs and from mobile devices. So some really cool stuff. So here's where I'm going to pass it on to Ian to really kind of walk us through the next set of scenarios and go through some really cool demos. So Ian, take it away.
Great, thank you, Conrad, and thank you everyone for joining today's session. As they mentioned, my name is Gott. I'm a partner technology strategist with Microsoft, and I'm excited to take you through the enterprise mobility suite from the end user experience. I mean, because that's what it's really all about, right? I mean, making your end users more productive, making them more secure, and empowering them to do their job and work from really anywhere, whether it's on the PC, whether it's on a mobile device, a tablet. And I'm going to get to show you a number of those scenarios today on even an iPhone device and my Windows 10 PC here. So we go ahead and advance to the next slide here. In terms of user productivity, what's it all about, right? It starts with the identity, and it sort of bridges that gap of accessing those SaaS-based applications that are out there. And as Travis covered in the last session, he talked about the 2,400, 2,500 plus apps. The list keeps growing. This is just kind of an example here of, the key here is unifying the identity so users can access these apps that they need, right? And whether that's on the PC, whether it's on the Mac, whether it's on an iPhone, iPad, Android device, Windows Phone, it doesn't matter. So empowering the identity, using the same set of credentials, doing it securely, to have access to these applications anywhere, whether it's Microsoft first-party applications like OneDrive for Business or Office 365 related productivity applications and solutions such as our Office Mobile or other third-party apps that we see out there. We often see Concur quite a bit, ADP, Fidelity, and a number of other applications you sort of see here. And so with the identity and the end user experience at hand, organizations are often seeing a lot of scenarios in which departments are providing cloud-based applications and solutions. We call it sort of shadow cloud, right, or shadow IT, in which you have applications of departmental deploy. And you see that a lot in HR or a sales organization or just various departments sprinkled throughout the organization where there might not be a strategy. So EMS, and what I'm going to show you today as far as the My Apps portal and how we sort of unify that experience for your end user, whether they're working on the PC in the office or they've hit the road and are accessing those core line of business applications from the mobile device, they're empowered to do so and have access through their identity securely. And that's what Azure AD Premium is all about, as Conrad and team mentioned. And identity is foundational, right? So making sure that the right info for the right person is presented on the right device, that's what it's all about. And that's really that second pillar as far as the end user's experience. And I'm going to show you what a device looks like that's managed by the Windows Intune component, or now we call Microsoft Intune. Intune's that second pillar of Enterprise Mobility Suite is what was reviewed in the last session. And what I'm going to show you there is a number of things related to the device being managed, making sure that the right apps are available to the users, making sure that that data that the users are accessing is securely managed, and that when users are bringing their own devices into the workplace, we've got to be careful about data security, governance, and data leakage, right? So if a user is working within corporate email, do I really want them copying out email or copying out information from that corporate email account that's managed outside into a personal account? So I'm going to show you an example of that as it relates to conditional access and securing information with Intune. And then, the third pillar here, as this slide sort of builds out, is the rights management piece, right? So you've got that device that's managed, you've got the identity that's securely accessing it all, and then you've got the rights management component so that we have the right access to the right data. So think about scenarios that you want to protect intellectual property or information that's on the device that's being shared not only maybe internally within the organization or shared externally. So I'm going to show you an example of sending a rights management protected message from my account here at work to another managed account, the demo environment that is on a mobile device, and actually reading and consuming that content on an iPhone device. So if we go ahead and move to the next slide here, this is where I'm going to kick off the demo from the end user perspective. So here I'm going to go ahead and just be made presenter here again, and should be able to show my screen. And just go ahead and let me know once you guys can see what I'm seeing. You should see Cloud Optimize Your Business. How's that look? You guys?
Getting there.
Okay, it's loading up. All right. So we'll just give that a second to load here. And once that loads up, you're going to see sort of the you're going to see the Office 365, the My Apps portal.
Yep, looks good.
And then what I'm going to show you here is, Travis showed a little bit in this last session, right? He talked about sort of the company branded portal. You can see I got my name up here, my logo, Ion, right? And here I'm in, my demo tenant. And before I even actually went in there, I wanted to show you just sort of common scenario. What happens if I can't access my account? What if I can't remember my password, right? So I'm going to show you sort of some integration with an iPhone here. And what I'm actually going to do here as well is I'm going to mirror my screen on my iPhone device. So we kind of have this sort of side-by-side here for you all to sort of see what happens. And let me know, Conrad, once you guys see, just see the iPhone screen up on the
Yep, we can see AirPlay now.
Okay, perfect. All right. And so that will load. And what I'm actually going to do here too is show, let's see here. Okay, there we go. I think it's just catching up to us. So I want to show you an example of here where I'm going to do a password reset. So I'm going to get a challenge here in terms of just making sure this isn't an automated process. And what I've liked that we've done with this is pretty much every time I do tend to get this right, so users don't get frustrated when they typed it in there. So I've got a few different ways here to get back into my account, so I don't have to call the help desk, which I even as an end user hate having to do, and as an organization costs $30–40 a reset, right? So I'm going to go in here and actually just do a scenario here where I'm going to use a text message to my mobile device. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to get a text one-time PIN, but before I do that, I've got to verify my phone number. Don't write down my phone number, guys. I don't do support remote, but what's going to happen here is the phone's going to actually get a text message. So I just got this text message. I'm going to go ahead and open that, and I just got this temporary PIN passcode. From user perspective, pretty simple, same sort of experience they see, from a banking app, etc. And I can go in here and type that 752-423 number, 752-423. And once I do that, I'll be given the option to go ahead, and reset my password. But what I did do here is showing you kind of another extension of that. So what I did here is I showed two-step verification. So I could have just done the one step, where you did text or phone call, but what if you require a lot of security? I know this could be painful for the user, but you as an admin can control all the options here. And really what I'm just showing you is that you have an option to do a one-step verification or a two-step, so that when the user is resetting their password, maybe they want to recover it through an email, right? And so what happens here is I'm using another form of verification. If I don't have, say I'm not getting cellular reception, what if I'm somewhere where my phone doesn't work, right? So I just got a PIN code sent to me for 504753 through email. And the reason I show that is, what if you're traveling internationally and you can't call the help desk, or you don't have your phone working where you're at? You can use the email reset option too, to use a recovery account to do that. So I'll do 504, right, and then 753 in here. And once I've done that, I'll be getting back into my account. So here I can reset my password, right? I didn't have to call the help desk. I can control as an administrator what that verification step process looks like, and then I'm in my account. I'm not going to go ahead and change my password right now, but I'm going to go back in here into the My Apps portal and go ahead and sign in. And what we'll have here is the option for me to sign in. And I do know my password now, so I'll just enter that. And I'll be in the My Apps portal. And the reason I want to show you this is the portal or jumping off point that you can think about for all the applications. So how does a user get that set up that I just showed you, right? So what's the user experience? So me as an administrator, I might turn on these verification enrollment processes. I'm not going to go through every part of it step by step necessarily here. But what happens here is, in this case, I required verification the first time the user logged into the My Apps portal. And you can hear I'm getting a phone call. And so the phone call will come in and ask me to verify.
Sign-in verification system. Please press the pound key to finish your verification. If you did not initiate,
so I initiated it.
Verified. Goodbye.
So I verified it with the pound key, and I'll get in to verify my information. That's sort of important to see at times, because you want to understand how you set up your users for that simplified access. And they're not going to get this every time. This is something that you do for the first time of enrollment, and you can see there were those two forms of verification that I had set up, as options that the user could use. I'm going to go ahead and cancel those because I've already showed you guys what that looks like. But as an administrator, you can set that up. The user gets prompted. They can ignore it a number of times, and I'm in, right? So here I've got some of the services and applications that have been published to me, and I can have this controlled by my IT department or my department head in terms of groups of applications that might be available to me in HR, legal, finance, whatever it might be, sales. You can see here I could go right into the Office 365 email application. I'm single signed in. I'm using that My Apps portal as kind of a jumping off point, to gain access to various resources. You can see here I'm in my account, and I've got the the navigation pane up here. And then I also have an easy way to get back. So we talked about Office 365 and Better Together from the user's experience. Not only do I have the apps here that my user is controlling access to that are part of Office 365, I got my My Apps link. So whether or not I've accessed this through the My Apps portal or through Office 365's portal.office.com, I have a nice interface to work with, and you can see above are the Office 365 productivity applications. Below are some of my line of business apps that I leverage as a user. And I could go ahead and click on one of these like Box. This is one that's integrated in there, and you'll see I'll go ahead and single sign on. It's going to pass my credentials into here, and actually I'll have it stop and sort of show. Well, this one's gonna ask me to install an updated module, but the single sign-on process, and I'll show this on the phone too, it is going to be seamless to the user in the sense of accessing not only the first-party apps but third-party apps as well. And that screen gets a little finicky because I'm in a private browsing session, so sometimes it'll ask for the credential again because I am on a work machine here. But what I'm going to show you though actually is we're going to switch back over to the iPhone, and I'm going to kind of show you that same sort of experience. Like if I leave the office, what happens then, right? So now I'm on the road, and if I bring this back up and I'll start sharing this again for you all so you can see what I'm seeing on the mobile device. You can see this is ready to go here. So I'll be back on the mobile device. I've got my managed iPhone device. I've got my group of Microsoft applications. You see I've got my Apps portal, I've got RMS sharing, I've got my multi-factor verification utility, I've got my managed Office apps and such, and we released a number of apps for the various platforms, and it's pretty amazing how productive users can be on the road, from everything from the Office Suite to Delve. We're managing this device with EMS, and so if I go into the My Apps portal here and go ahead and sign in, you can see there's the company branding. I go right in here, and I have sort of that that same sort of experience, right? I even get prompted to verify. You can kind of see that might be a little small. It's a bit bigger on my screen here, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that and go right in since we sort of already talked about that. But you can see here, same list of apps. These are web-enabled versions of these applications for to work for a number of scenarios, or if you have full desktop or mobile device-based apps. Obviously, those can integrate for single sign-on as well. You just might access them a little differently in terms of your shortcuts. So here I've gone right into the mobile Office 365 experience on the device, right from my Apps portal. I'm in my email, and here's even a rights protected message, right? So here was a PowerPoint message that I happened to send over. And that message has been sent over, and I could get into that, and I'll actually show you the RMS piece, kind of doing things in order, right? We showed the identity experience, signing in, single sign-on access, kind of seamless sort of experience, whether it's on the iPhone or the desktop, and moving from this experience here, and then I can show the Box app here. This actually is integrated with single sign-on with multi-factor authentication. So I could set up multi-factor authentication for my users for other applications as well, not just Microsoft. So I'll go ahead and verify that. I'll go ahead and hang that up since I've been verified. You kind of heard that before. And now I've actually been logged in to Box. So with multi-factor authentication, you can use that natively with Office 365, but EMS opens up scenarios to use that for other critical business applications, like you just saw with Box. So I could have chosen another method of verification. I got the phone call. You don't want your phone always ringing when you're sitting in a meeting or sitting somewhere to verify. So you can do the text verification, or you can use the Multifactor app. And what happens here is this runs in the background, and a notification will come up, and I'll enter a PIN. And if I have a moment, I'll show you that to y'all. But I want to be sensitive to time here as well, since we're got a short window of time, but show quite a few things. So that's sort of that traveling that consistent experience there. Also on the device, I have my company portal. So this is sort of my one-stop shop where I can have information published about IT, a support number. My users can go into the company portal here to access things like applications that are available and approved for them to download and such. So the My Apps portal we'll go ahead and refresh it here because I made a few changes, but single sign back into that. I'd have some company apps, I'd have some information around my devices, and I can work with support IT, to know what's going on with my device. I could even remove my device if this is a personal device, I left the organization, or I, wanted to go ahead and, have the device wiped or selectively wiped when I left. That could be an option, as well as, having the device completely wiped. So, it's a little bit about the company portal. This just gives me a nice place to go ahead and manage from an end user perspective, categories of applications from productivity to departments and such you might be working in, right? And so what does that managed application experience look like? Well, I'm actually going to show you here the mobile application management. So we call it MAM, right? So mobile application management is a unique differentiator for the Intune platform in that many of the Microsoft Office productivity apps, like our Outlook app here, you'll see this will say managed by your company. And the resolution is switching around there because it's asking me for a PIN. So it's saying, managed by my company. I'm entering in a PIN here because I had another level of authentication. So now I'm in the Outlook app that's managed. This app was deployed with Intune. And as I was mentioning, the Microsoft apps have another level of management. So we have our mobile apps for all the platforms. Outlook here is mobile application managed by Intune. And what I want to show you what that means is, so say I've got this email here, right? And I want to, I'm going to try to copy something out of this. I've containerized this app, and I'll be allowed to copy, right? So you're going to say I could copy that, but say I want to try to take that. I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. I'm going to go into the native app on the iPhone here, and I'm going to actually create a new message because I'm trying to send some of that stuff to my personal account. Well, you'll see what will happen here. There's no option to copy. There's no option to screenshot and that other. I couldn't do anything with that information. So that's that containerization scenario where you don't see, the copy or paste option of me moving from this managed instance, of Outlook for the mobile device back into my consumer or my personal space on the device. So I'm keeping work and the personal life separate here. And as a user, I could go and copy within here. I could go ahead and copy that and then paste it into Word or other applications that I have managed as a company, but I can control that. That's up to me as the administrator to control and lay down what that policy looks like without inhibiting the user to be productive, because I know they can be productive within the business apps, but I don't want them copying this information outside of the core business apps into the applications that they shouldn't necessarily be, or that my organization isn't managing. Real quick here, I know we're getting close to time as far as the demo, but what I wanted to show you all real quick was, if I was back at the desktop, as an example, and I was going to write to protect a message, right? So I'm going to send this to my demo account. I could do this in the browser as well. I'm going to go ahead and attach a file here. It's a new infrastructure diagram project we're working on, and I'm going to go ahead and RMS protect this. And we're doing some things. Office 2016 came out for Mac and PC recently. We're doing a lot to enhance the security natively as it relates to document protection. And Enterprise Mobility Suite and Azure RMS Premium, which is part of that, is an important component. And there's going to be some things you'll start to see happening with more of this even being automated. But here I'm stepping you through some policies we've created, and I'm just going to set this one to view. I'm going to set an expiration on the document. I'm going to have me email if somebody opens it, and I'm going to allow me to instantly revoke access. So when I send that out, RMS is going in here now, and it's encrypting that document, and it's going to send it out to my account. And so once that gets sent out, I'll have that back here on my device. I say I just received this in my work account. I'm going to go into that account here real quick, and actually, here's my email, and here's a RMS protected document. And you can see I got that icon down here for the infrastructure project. Here's the document, and I'm going to go ahead and open that in the RMS app, from end user perspective. Let me move this out of the way for you guys. So what's happening here is it's going to verify who. So what's happening here is that, see, it verified who I was. It took my credentials. It says, Ion, you've got, this was granted by Ion at Gott@Microsoft.com. This was sent to my, cloud demo account, and I sent ViewOnly Access. It says you've got restricted access on that document. You can view it, and now you can go ahead and view that rights management protected document. This is just a document that's public, actually, of our Azure data center footprint and whatnot. But you could see there from a user perspective, it doesn't matter if I started or was working in the office or on the mobile device. I'm communicating and being productive and doing that securely across Azure AD Premium for identity and single sign-on, as well as Intune for mobile device management and containerization, keeping the app secure, deploying the apps, managing the policies on the device, and doing a number of things that relates to mobile device management, mobile app management. And then you saw that scenario of me sending over a secure document in which I had to authenticate to view, and I got my view-only rights to work with that document. But thank you all. That was a quick summary of the experience from the end user perspective. I'll go ahead and hand it back to the Agile IT team, which is a great partner I work with as one of our managed partners. Right back at you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Ion. Yeah, this is Brian, and I just want to thank everybody for attending today's session. I did get a couple questions. We're short on time, though. We're going to address those individually and respond. As with last time, we will be sending out the slide presentation and the recording in case you'd like to share that with anybody else across your team. If you would like some additional help and have additional discussions, this is obviously a pretty short session. Three-part series. Next series is going to be from an administrator's perspective, which will really well round the full benefits of how EMS Suite can help your business, and we'd love to chat with you more about it and also discuss how we can help you write some of these policies and protect your important documents. So if you would like any additional information, contact us at sales@agileiT.com. Reach out to me directly. This is Brian Long. And Conrad, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. Just really thank you, Ion, for giving such a great demo. There's so many pieces that are there that are great from the end user's perspective, and lots of different options to for them to leverage as they want to secure their content. In the next session, we'll talk from an administrator's perspective of what are some of the settings, or what do they see for them to enable in either leveraging some of the policies that are there, or kind of extending a policy out to their users and kind of managing those devices. So not really part of the deployment, but really about once it's all there, what can they do? And that's really going to be the focus of part 3. So that's on November 17th. So we ask you to, if you haven't registered already, please go back and register. Make sure you have that link and make sure you have that calendar invite on there. So I think with that, that's it for today. So again, thanks Ian, thanks Brian. Again, this is Conrad Agramont with Agile IT. Thanks for watching the webinar, and again, we'll follow up with the slides and the link to the recording so you can share with your team. Thanks, everybody.